Hi, out there in Sportslandia. This is Ethan Truax and my co-host,
Austin Creek, Lawrence, whatever you want to call me.
Yes.
It'll be undecided by the end of the year. Anywho, we're back in 2020.
It's Strictly Sports again.
And he said it that time, so I didn't forget it. So, we're back. We're actually going to do some podcasts this year.
Yeah, New Year's resolution.
Yeah.
We're going to sound a little bit better, maybe. We got a new setup, so...
Yeah, with any luck at all, it'll work out.
Still sound like an ugly orc, but that's okay. We will survive.
I'm still as nasally as ever, so It works out. Anywho, let's go ahead and get to the sports. Ethan, I unfortunately have to congratulate you on something. Mr. Ethan over here.
I am the champion.
Won fantasy football this year.
With potentially one of the most ridiculous fantasy rosters, because our league, which we should ask our commissioner about why this happens, is a Week 17 championship. Only 6% of all fantasy leagues in the world.
Did you look that up before we came on this?
Maybe.
Because I feel like you're really starting to go after the, quote, commissioner, quote, which is, fun fact for you guys, me. Oh,
I'm just saying, there's only 6% of all fantasy football leagues have a Week 17 championship because it is the most meaningless week in football.
That's why it's interesting, because you have to let go of all of your previous thoughts.
So, like, half of my normal starting roster was either injured or out because of Week 17.
Oh, I'm sorry it took them till Week 17 to all get injured, as opposed to mine, they got injured in Week 2. All of them.
So I was not able to win the championship with the vaunted likes of Chris Carson, Dalvin Cook, or Lamar Jackson. Nope, I had to drop all those guys. And I had to pick up Damian Harris, DeAndre Washington, Raheem Mostert. Those are my running backs. Andy Dalton was my quarterback.
How did you pull this off, anyway?
And Michael Gallup, who got 3 touchdowns that week.
Wait, who'd you go against in the final?
It was our friend Craig. He had.
Oh, it was him.
He had actually a really good roster. He had like Lockett, Saquon, Carson. No, Wentz.
Carson Wentz.
The quarterback.
You were close.
The Philadelphia Eagles was his quarterback. Like, he had a pretty good roster, but it wasn't ridiculous enough to win in the 6% of all leagues Week 17 championship.
Hey, I like to live in the minority, okay? That's how we're gonna be, and I don't care. So.
Don't worry. We'll be hearing more about this later on this year, I'm sure.
That'll just be Ethan's way of saying, hey, he's gonna bitch every fucking podcast.
But yes, unfortunately, you did not make the playoffs this year.
I had a rough season.
Yes.
A very rough season.
Okay, well, let's take a look back at the year. What do you think is something that you might have learned about in fantasy football this year?
I actually did learn one very important thing that I should have learned a couple years ago whenever I relied heavily on the Texans offense. Because not this year, but a year previous, I drafted Watson, Lamar Miller, and DeAndre Hopkins. I've done that before, and they all got injured. However, this year, I'm like, there's one team out there that has never let me down in offense every time I've had one single individual from the team. Why not just draft all 3 of them? So, I went ahead and drafted Julio Jones, Devontae Freeman, and Matt Ryan. Boy, was I disappointed.
You did not draft Devontae Freeman.
Oh, that's right. I traded Hopkins for Freeman because Hopkins was doing nothing the first 3 weeks. And I was desperate for a running back because I also took a look back on the draft and realized I completely forgot to draft a running back till round 10.
Ooh, whoa. Yeah, no,
Remember, Tevin Coleman was my first running back.
Oh, no. Oh no!
Because it was Tevin Coleman and who was my other one? It was someone off the wall.
Wasn't it Ronald McDonald?
Ronald Jones.
Ronald Jones?
No, I picked him up too, but it wasn't him that started. It's Tevin Coleman and I remember. I'm a little embarrassed by it. It was remember that Dolphins running back?
No, Kalen Ballage?
Yeah.
Oh no! I forgot about that. No, Austin. Okay, so please tell me this next year in the draft, you're going to pick a running back in at least the first 2 rounds.
I refuse to have any alcohol before I draft. At least the first 5 rounds.
Please draft a running back within the first 2 rounds. Please.
Make it 3. I can live with 3. I'll just choose Adrian Peterson.
Oh gosh, no.
But he's so good.
He's not though.
Oh well.
Yeah, no, he's not gonna be much of a target next year. Darius Geis is gonna take over.
Yeah, probably. But the Redskins look good for next year anyway.
Oof. Which, speaking of next year, let's move on from fantasy football and go on to real football.
Wait, there's a real football?
I mean, apparently. I'm not very good at paying attention to it. I only care about points that matter to me. But still, some people care about the playoffs, and they're still kind of interesting. So,
hey, my team got close.
Yeah, we're recording this right now in week 2 of the NFL playoffs.
We're also recording it the day after Black Saturday, if you will.
Oh no, I don't know what happened.
What happened to the Ravens?
Yeah, so the Titans. We're recording this the Sunday after the Titans destroyed the Ravens. None of us managed to watch the game, but we're just so confused. What happened? All right, here. This is where we go to the stats. So did you watch any of the game?
No, I was actually at a Supercross race, so I didn't get to catch any of it. Which the race itself was pretty cool, but I had a small point in intermission where I'm like, I'll check in on this game, see how it's going. I'm sure it's probably fairly close because, I feel like the Titans had a decent shot. Not enough of one to, do it. And when I looked it up, score was 28-12, and I'm like, what the hell happened?
Okay, so... Alright, I've got the stats from the game. Maybe the box score can tell us a little bit about what happened.
All right.
So I'm going to read you off 2 numbers, and I want you to guess which team the numbers belong to.
Oh boy.
I'll tell you what they relate to. So first downs. So total number of first downs. We have 15 and 29.
29?
Yes.
Well, that sounds like the Ravens, but if they lost... I feel like it's got to be the Titans.
So you're saying the Titans are 29?
Yeah.
You're wrong.
Wait, the Titans only had 15?
15 first downs compared to the Ravens, 29. All right, here we go. Total yards. No, total plays. Here's a good one. Total plays. 53-92.
Oh, well, I feel like the Titans probably have 92. Because they would just run it with Derrick Henry constantly.
Well, you are wrong again.
What? How? How did the Titans win?
Total yards, 300 versus 530.
Surely the Titans have to have the 530.
No, they do not. The 530 belongs to the Ravens.
How did this happen?
All right, and moving on down to, okay, here's the real kicker. Passing. 83.
Well, that sounds like a Ryan Tannehill.
Or 345.
Well, that sounds like Lamar Jackson.
So, yeah, no, that one is correct. 83 passing yards from Ryan Tannehill.
That's it?
Ooh, which we're going to take a break from the game to say, is Ryan Tannehill going to be the starter next year?
I mean, he's got him this far, though.
Yeah, you're right, but... if they can design an offense around Mariota's got some legs.
He does, but I feel like at this point in his career, his ship has kind of sailed unless they change something. Ethan, you forgot to turn off your phone, sir.
Well, it's important NFL things. It's breaking news. The Texans are starting to play.
Oh.
That's it. The game is almost starting.
What a news flash. Thank you for that report. But, I mean, just the run that they've had since Tannehill got the start, though, I mean, have they lost?
No, they haven't, but...
Is he reliable enough to just go ahead and sign on for another year or two?
I think they got to go with Tannehill. He got him so far, and he's better than Mariota in the passing game, and they really need to take advantage of A.J. Brown while they have him for now.
Yeah, so just leave Tannehill in and use Brown to everything he's got.
Yeah.
And, Derrick Henry is going to clearly be enough to handle the ground game by himself. Because if you said Ryan Tannehill had 82 yards, that means Derrick Henry had roughly, 200 something?
I'm not looking at individual, but yes, rushing. The rushings were 217 or 185.
Well, 217 sounds like Derrick Henry.
All by himself, probably.
More than likely.
And
maybe Tannehill had 1 3-yard run.
And honestly, I'm guessing that the 185 might have just been entirely Lamar Jackson.
Also very possible. There may have been a 5-yard rush by Ingram, but nothing major. I don't know how this has happened. Clearly an interesting story, to say the least. But it does illustrate the point that everything I've guessed this year for football has gone awry.
Yeah.
Because when all the playoff teams got set, I chose one NFC team and one AFC team to go to the Super Bowl. Thanks to a website I found called playoffpredictor.com, which is actually pretty cool. Check it out. Small plug for them. They did not sponsor us. But you can pretty much predict the whole season.
Yeah.
Game by game. Not stats, because that would be too specific. And then you get to pick the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I did that at the beginning of the year. I ended up with a Ravens versus Saints Super Bowl.
Oh.
Because you know how I feel about good old Drew Brees.
Oh, no.
With the Saints winning. Well, boy, was I disappointed this year.
Jeez, yeah, you almost, you should have been right going into the playoffs.
If statistics meant anything, yes, I would have been right. However, they do not, because the Titans had Derrick Henry yards, and that's it, and they beat the Ravens. And somehow Minnesota pulled off another upset against the Saints. I feel like they just have their number at this point.
Yeah, they've played them enough times. They don't need miracles every time to beat them.
No.
That's for sure.
Kirk Cousins is just I'll just throw the ball and see what happens.
And Dalvin Cook is one of the more underrated rushers in the NFL right now.
They've also got really good receivers, too. Diggs and Thielen.
Yep.
That's just good.
And, Rudolph got him the
winning touchdown.
Yeah, the winning touchdown, and he's no slouch at tight end, for sure.
No, he's just a little older, but he's still good. He's better than some of the old guys out there. And Tony Gates.
Shit, I wasn't wrong.
What?
Lamar Jackson did account for 143 of their rushing yards.
Good Lord.
He tried so hard to will them to win, but...
He's like, what else do I have to do, guys?
I don't know.
I threw for 300. I rushed for 150. What more do you want from me?
They had 3 receivers over 50 that had over 50 yards receiving.
Did Lamar Jackson have 100 yards receiving too?
No. The Titans had 0 receivers over 50 yards.
Good Lord.
What?
How did they score? Was it just defense? There surely has to be
Tannehill rushed in one, and
and Henry probably rushed in one.
It was
two.
a few. Corey Davis and K Raymond. I don't know his first name. Never
Shout out to K Raymond.
K. Raymond got a touchdown.
I don't know who that is.
Sounds
defensive. So.
Oh, and it turns out Derrick Henry also passed a touchdown.
Passed a touchdown.
Yes.
Okay.
Did not catch that bit, and that is...
So that means the 82
hilarious.
passing yards is not just Ryan Tannehill. So Tannehill probably had less than that.
I think they had 88 rushing yards.
Passing.
Or passing yards.
So,
did they have negative? Maybe I'm mixing up my... Oh, here we go.
it might have counted sacks or something.
Yeah, I was probably counting sacks or something. Yeah.
Because it does that.
So the roughly like 90 passing yards. Some of them were...
Tannehill didn't even have them all.
No.
That's really sad.
Ugh.
Oh,
Lamar Jackson threw 59 passes.
And they still didn't win.
Well, okay, passing attempts, but 31 completed passes still didn't win.
That is...
What is this madness? Ugh. Yeah, and in other playoff news, that's really kind of the only exciting thing. I mean, aside from, obviously, the Patriots lost last week. Thank goodness.
We were at a bar together.
Oh, yeah, it was great.
In inner city Indianapolis.
Yes, Indianapolis hates the Patriots more than any other team in the world.
God, whenever they had that pick six at the end of that game, man, the bar erupted with a roar of applause, and it just made me feel like that one scene in Revenge of the Sith. Where this is how democracy ends. With a roar of applause. And I'm like, yes. It's all come together. Hopefully Tom Brady will be gone. I hope.
No, never will.
But I can dream, Ethan. I can dream. And on that note, we're going to take a short break here and get a word from our sponsor. You were supposed to fill out the sponsor work.
Oh, what? Anyway, this is an ad read from youradreadshere.com. If you want to advertise with a local podcast, call the number below. Oh, wait, is this not a video? No, call the number after my voice. Alright, anyway. Your ad read could be here for the low rate of...
Insert number here. Alright, and we're back. Hope you enjoyed that advertisement. And now it's back to football time.
So we're going to move back to fantasy. Well, it's quasi-real football, but we really only care about fantasy football. We're going to be honest with you there. Analytics. And we're going to talk about our favorite or most interesting free agents for 2020.
And where they could potentially go. So that way, we have an idea of what to expect, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously there'll be no newbies coming out next year. Tua looks good, but we'll have to see how he comes back from injury. Joe Burrow looks good. There's that running back from Wisconsin that set all the records. He looks really good. But let's look at where others are going and see how that correlates. Would you like to go first, Ethan?
I mean, I think you had an interesting one I'd like to start with. You said you had some hot takes on this guy.
Oh, yes.
Even though he felt pretty cold at the end of the season. David Johnson.
I've got a very hot take on him because of you, single-handedly, I have started becoming a Redditor.
Oh.
And I found an interesting take from someone who claims to be part of the Buccaneers organization.
Oh, the Buccaneers.
Because, you know me, I love those Buccaneers. I don't know why, but I do.
They are a sad team to watch, but you can't look away.
Exactly. It's like a train wreck.
Yes.
I mean, 30 touchdowns and 30 interceptions. It's complete balance. It's like Thanos is running it.
Oh, no.
But reports said Bruce Arians is in talks with the Cardinals to get David Johnson over there.
Bruce Arians wants to bring David Johnson with him. Oh,
That sounds real.
Yeah. Then they could get rid of one of Ronald Barber or Peyton Jones. Probably.
You just combined all of their names.
Oh, and then there's
Dare,
yes. Dare.
Whatever his last name
I think it's Agumwale? I don't know. I apologize, right. Dare. You can come punch me if you want to.
Honestly, I hope they keep Dare. He can actually catch.
I mean, but so can David Johnson. So who cares?
Yeah, but for when David Johnson, needs someone to spell him every once in a while.
Nah, David Johnson's a workhorse.
No, not on the Buccaneers.
Yes, he is going to get. If he goes to the Buccaneers, he is going to get
every single
minimum
carry,
15 touches.
I thought you were going to say 50.
Maybe even I could even say 7. I'd be willing to say 20 touches every game.
I'd be willing to say 20 as well. Because there's no way you can do it otherwise.
15, 16 carries, and then 4 or 5 passes.
At least targets.
Yeah, every game. I mean, but that actually kind of brings us to another one of the free agents on the list.
Would you like me to go with my next one?
Who is going to be passing those?
That's my next one.
Those footballs to David Johnson potentially.
Hot take number 2: Jameis Winston
sucks. No, wait, that's not a hot take.
That's not a hot take. That's old news. New news: I bet he leaves.
He just willingly leaves.
No.
Goes to Canada. Plays in the CFL.
That's probably his best bet. I mean,
XFL.
Oh God. Oh God. Not. Oh God. Vince McMahon would definitely post huge things about that.
Oh gosh.
Lobsters everywhere. Anyway, I bet Jameis Winston is no longer a Buck.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. The Jameis Winston experiment has been thorough,
disastrous,
and
they've been through
unnecessary.
They've been through what?
Has it been 4 seasons now?
4 seasons. Because they were debating whether to do his 5th-year option because him and Mariota have the same kind of deal thing. And yeah, Mariota's another one.
That draft class.
It was something. I hope they don't do the 5th-year option because that would just be stupid. But if he goes somewhere else, I really don't know where else fits well that he is a starter. I do feel he could be a backup somewhere, though.
You know who likes backup quality quarterbacks?
There's a couple of teams.
Not
the Saints.
It's in Florida. A mediocre quarterback that starts in Florida deserves to stay in Florida.
Oh, so they're going to Miami.
No, Jaguars.
But they already have 2 that they don't want. Why would they get a 3rd one?
They could. The Patriots need a backup, probably. Give them full.
No.
They'll do something with him.
No. Honestly, my thought is he'll probably end up being a backup for maybe the Browns or the Rams.
Okay, here's a really hot take. Let's keep him in the colors that he deserves to be in. A backup for Dwayne Haskins.
Now that could be interesting.
Yeah?
Because you might be onto something there.
Because, I mean, okay, I'm sure they still have Colt McCoy for a little while. But
Colt McCoy will stay with the Redskins until he turns to dust.
Yeah, well, Colt McCoy could also just go literally anywhere else because he is a backup for anybody. Anybody can be happy with having Colt McCoy as a backup.
He's just a hired gun.
Yeah. But if they manage to snag Jameis Winston to back him up.
And until Alex Smith comes back, if he comes back.
Oh, I forgot that Alex Smith existed. Is he not retired?
I don't know. I feel bad for him because he's only not playing because he had that really bad leg injury. I don't know if he's going to ever play again. But if he doesn't, that would be a good spot for him to go. Or, about this, Panthers.
Oh. Yeah, because, I mean, I don't know Cam Newton's future and...
I have a hot take on Newton as well. I didn't have him on the list that we approved earlier.
That's okay.
But I'll go ahead and add him. I bet he goes Chicago.
Oh, Trubisky finally regulated to literally anywhere else but a starting job.
Backup.
Yes. That would be so good for Chicago.
It might actually help Trubisky as well. He gets to learn from an MVP caliber quarterback.
True.
Matt Nagy can actually use his offense.
Can Matt Nagy actually coach? I mean, the people keep saying he's a good coach.
Know.
People keep saying he's a good coach. But I don't know, man. He's made a lot of questionable decisions, like trying to... Yeah, remember when Mike Davis was playing for them this year and he gave the ball to Mike Davis for some reason?
Why would anyone give the ball to Mike Davis?
Not when you have David Montgomery and
Or Tariq Cohen.
Ugh, why?
I would rather just hand the ball to Allen Robinson and let him run it.
But, speaking of pass-catching running backs...
Would you like to go with yours?
Yes, so this is going to be a 2-for-1. There's a situation in San Diego, and I mean, aside from whatever, well, I don't believe LA is not a real city. I don't believe in LA. It doesn't exist. If you're listening from what you think is LA, you're wrong. It's probably like Compton or one of the other neighborhoods. There is no LA. It doesn't exist.
Anaheim.
Sure. Go Ducks. Anyway, so there is a bit of a mess, and well, there's a few messes in the Charger. Where do they play? That's right. They play in the same stadium as the.
They're in the LA Coliseum right now.
All right, fine. But... They play in the area known as LA. The Chargers, they got some messes to clean up. Aside from Rivers, who shit his pants, but I mean, that's Rivers. He does that all the time.
If you don't believe him, look at the rest of his career.
Eckler. But anyway, sorry, there was a really key moment in regular season fantasy football where a touchdown pass to Eckler would have won me the game, but it was an interception instead. It sucked. I hate you, Phillip Rivers. You ruined my night. Anyway, Eckler and Jordan. Austin Eckler, also known by some as Awesome Eckler. And then there's Melvin Gordon on the same team. Two amazing running backs. But only, they don't.
Only one can stay, though.
Yeah, there's no way that there's enough room for both of them on the roster at the same time doing as well as they did. They got like a reprieve this year because of Melvin Gordon's contract issues, but I don't see the Chargers being able to satisfy both of these guys. They're too good. Like, Eckler was like the numbered... Despite Melvin Gordon coming back midway through the season, he was still like number 7 on the year for fantasy running backs.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like Nick Chubb was the only other one that could do something like that with someone else coming back in towards the end of the year.
Yeah, no. So, what do you think is going to happen to these guys? Who do you think the Chargers are going to keep? Are they going to keep any of them?
I mean, I haven't mentioned this on a podcast or anything yet, but you know my philosophy. The Miami dynasty that's going to form.
Gosh, no. There's no such thing. It does not exist.
So
it cannot exist. They've been rebuilding for years.
Why not do it all in one off season?
Gosh.
They've got enough draft picks.
If they try to do that, it's just gonna end up like what the Browns did last year. And
oh, it will. It's worth a shot.
I think. Okay, so I dislike Melvin Gordon. I think he's overrated. He's great. Look, he can run a 40 better than I ever could, and he's talented. But I think that Austin Eckler deserves to go to the team that would take him to a Super Bowl next year, guaranteed, the Ravens. Because let's think, the dual threat that is Lamar Jackson, if he had a passing back, or receiving back, whatever, a pass catching back, like Austin Eckler to throw to, they would just be playing rugby. They wouldn't play football anymore. They would just play rugby, and it would forever change the football game as we know it.
But what about Gus Edwards and Mark Ingram? Yeah,
they can trade Gus Edwards.
To who?
I don't know. Someone else?
The Patriots?
Hey, the Chargers. They need somebody.
So where do you see Gordon going then if, Eckler sticks?
All right, so if Eckler sticks with the Chargers.
If he sticks with the Chargers or goes to your Ravens philosophy. Either way, Gordon's got to get a home too.
That's true. And I think that depending on how injuries shake up, the Seahawks might be a good home.
That could work out.
Because, they still have Chris Carson and Rashad Penny, but Rashad Penny...
But they also have Robert Durbin and Marshawn Lynch now.
Okay.
Both of which will probably retire after this evening's game.
I'm getting a vision from later in 2020. Oh, it's September and none of those guys are on a team anywhere. Oh, okay. Turns out it was
a playoff 2020 only.
Yes.
I got you.
The Seahawks could be a good fit. I'm trying to think of who else really need. Okay.
Miami Dynasty.
Okay, no.
Or I got another one. Kansas City.
That's just who was the tip of my tongue. I have a feeling they're going to jettison Damian Williams finally. He's good for the organization. He might stick around in a backup role, but I think they're going to relegate him because the Chiefs really struggled without a stellar run game this year. And LaShawn McCoy is not the answer.
He's just too old.
When you're a healthy scratch and they're just recharging him for the playoffs,
it's not a good sign.
Yeah, no. You want somebody who can go every game when you need him to go.
It's just like having Frank Gore on your roster.
Oh gosh, yeah.
We both have hot takes on Frank Gore.
Frank Gore, he's gonna stay with the Bills.
I don't think he is though.
Is it just because he doesn't feel like he's played for enough NFL teams?
Yes, that's the exact reason.
Has he? How many teams has Gore played for?
Well, let's see. He started with the 49ers.
Yeah.
He ended up, I think he went to Miami next. And he was on the Colts. Been on the Bills. I feel like there was another one, but I can't remember what it was. Yeah, maybe you can look it up and see real quick, but I truthfully think...
it's only 4 teams, okay.
Is it just those 4?
49ers, Colts, Dolphins, Bills.
Yep. I truthfully think he just wants to go somewhere warm for his last season.
I'd see, what, is he 30? He's 36? He's still got 4 good years left.
36?
Yeah.
As a running back? No.
You've seen Frank Gore?
True. He is...
infinite.
Yeah.
Now, I think he's going to stick with the Bills. I think he wants a chance to go to the Super Bowl.
I just don't think the Bills can provide it, though.
I think the Bills could, though. I mean, he is perfect. He's got a workhorse back, potentially, and Devin Singletary to be behind and, just sort of chill on the sidelines while he does most of the work. Mm-hmm. And Josh Allen, he's not going to be as good as Lamar Jackson next year. As good as Lamar Jackson was this year, but I think he could pull off similar numbers to Lamar Jackson if, they kind of, towards the end of the season, the Bills were kind of starting to figure out, hey, we actually need to let Josh Allen run the ball.
Yeah, I mean, if they can get that situated, that could be a better position.
And they get themselves some tight ends, some blocking tight ends in the draft.
Just listen to me one time.
Okay. No. Okay.
Miami Dynasty.
Get it out of your system.
Miami Dynasty. In case anyone's wondering what the hell I'm talking about, it's my theory, still working theory, that Miami's just going to jettison all of the draft picks and get a bunch of old people and have the Over the Hill gang down there.
Florida retirement home.
Yeah, pretty much. It's going to be Phillip Rivers at quarterback.
Oh, no.
Melvin Gordon at running back.
You don't think the Dolphins could get Tom Brady?
No.
Oh.
Bill Belichick won't let that happen because it's in the same division.
Yeah, no. Bill Belichick controls all trades.
Especially in the AFC East. At wide receiver, they'll keep Devontae Parker because you can't get rid of him. And they'll get my other hot take here. My third and final one I had on my side of the list. OBJ.
What? No.
And AJ Green.
No.
Over the Hill gang.
They're never going to trade those guys.
OBJ doesn't want to be in Cleveland anymore.
OBJ, I'm not convinced.
And Miami can just throw a bunch of cash at AJ Green and...
okay, well, you see, I just think the Bengals have invested too much in AJ Green for them to ever get rid of him for anything less than 3 first-round draft picks.
Well, you see, my thinking is they already have Tyler Boyd. He's proven he can be a wide receiver 1.
Yeah, and then what? John Ross?
John Ross could be a decent slot receiver. They draft another receiver in the draft this year. And they just...
Yeah, but they're taking Burrow first. They have to go in the 2nd round.
Yeah?
Yeah.
You can draft a wide receiver in the second round. You know this, right?
No.
There are other rounds to the draft. It's not just the first one.
There's only the first round. Nothing else matters.
It doesn't matter.
Screw you, Gardner Minshew.
My dynasty in Miami is never going to work out anyway. So.
I mean, okay, the Miami could build a decent team, but they're not going to get AJ Green.
Fitzmagic is the backup.
Yeah.
Forgot about that.
Sorry. That would be fun to dream about.
And Devion Clowney is on the defense.
God, didn't they trade him? Or is it?
No, that was Houston.
Okay. So then, speaking of Texas, though, our last free agents on the list right now.
Oh yeah,
kind of a duo right here: Amari Cooper, and Dak Prescott.
I have opinions on both of them.
Yeah.
One's good, one's not.
I mean,
I think Dak's not bad.
No, he's not bad.
Under the right coach, which they got Mike McCarthy now, so that might work out. I said might, not
okay.
Definitely.
There's a reason the Packers fired Mike McCarthy. Let's all not forget that.
Yeah, the reason was Aaron Rodgers.
I mean, but still.
Anywho, I know you shook your head heavily there, but Mike McCarthy's not that bad.
He's not Jason Garrett.
He is not Jason Garrett. That is the important thing here. And with the Cowboys having as much talent as they do, and having a coach that's better than Jason Garrett, dare I say,
they should be able to do something. They
can at least make the playoffs. How did they miss the playoffs this year?
I don't think they can afford to pay both Amari Cooper and Dak Prescott.
Oh, I agree completely, because both of them are going to want the moon and like payment.
Yeah.
And
so, but I have a theory of the case here. Now hear me out.
All right. What is your
Cincinnati
theory?
has the first round draft pick right now. Right now. That can change. It can definitely change.
Well,
the Cowboys
said there's only one round in the draft.
Yep, there is only one round in the draft, and none of the other draft picks actually matter. So you can get rid of as many of those as you want. So, the Dallas Cowboys, they have pick number 18. Yeah. So, what if they pull some shenanigans? And
are you implying that they get the number one pick?
Yes.
What?
So they trade Dak Prescott to the Bengals and Amari Cooper so they trade Dak Prescott, Amari Cooper, and first round and probably a couple second rounds
for Joe Burrow.
For essentially Joe Burrow and AJ Green. I mean, it could happen.
It could, but it won't.
It would be so interesting, though.
It would be, but no. Jerry Jones is psychotic, but not that psychotic.
What if they got Joe Burrow instead? Everybody's expecting him to go to the Bengals, and the Bengals are going to be so good. But what if the Cowboys got Joe Burrow? Plus, the NFL will sanction this because they love the Cowboys. And they make money when the Cowboys do moderately well. And they'll keep doing moderately well under Joe Burrow.
I don't even have words to describe this right now. What the hell?
But, okay, also, let's think about this and imagine Dak Prescott leading the Bengals. That's an interesting prospect.
With Amari Cooper and Tyler Boyd?
Yeah.
And John Ross. Okay.
Yeah.
And then they'd still have a couple of draft picks.
For sure. Maybe they'll be able to snag a...
Do you really think the Cowboys would give up that much for just Joe Burrow, though?
I mean, trust me, owners and GMs have done weirder things.
That's true. I mean, I once watched someone jettison Khalil Mack from a team. So.
Oh gosh, Jerry Jones needs to go to the playoffs within the next 2 years because he's gonna die soon. He's so old.
Well, there went my drink. I was taking a sip of.
So he desperately needs those playoff wins. So he's gonna go full bore. He's gonna make. I predict. So here's my prediction for the offseason is
not the Giants.
The Cowboys are gonna make the craziest offseason moves.
I mean, they have one of the least amounts of cap room, if I recall.
And they have players that they can trade. What if they trade Ezekiel Elliott.
No
To anyone.
freaking way they're gonna do that.
Yeah, no,
they
it's
spent
impossible.
way too much money on him.
But yeah, they got.
What if they trade Jason Witten to NBC? Is that possible?
to NBC.
Get some cash
We'll
considerations.
take Booger.
Yeah, give us Booger at quarterback. God, no.
Well, anyway, those are some of our thoughts for the upcoming off season, and
yeah. So overall, Frank Gore's gonna be warm.
he's gonna go somewhere.
Yeah, he'll have a good time.
He's not quitting.
Miami Dynasty will happen. Apparently, Joe Burrow to the Cowboys confirmed.
Joe Burrow to the Cowboys.
Confirmed.
It would be amazing. I mean, come on. It would just be a nuclear Armageddon between the Ravens with Austin Eckler
God.
and the Cowboys with Joe Burrow.
I don't know.
And AJ Green. That has to be part of the trade, too.
It's just Burrow and Green.
Yeah.
God, I don't even know what to say to that.
I mean, interesting. That's sure.
No doubt, interesting.
Maybe we can do a video of this. You have a Madden game, right?
Yeah.
Well, maybe when the next Madden game comes out with Joe Burrow on it, we can make this happen.
All right. Well, if we get one sponsor, then we can go get the new Madden game and we'll give it a go.
And we will make Austin Eckler to the Ravens.
And I can build my Miami Dynasty.
Oh, God.
Phillip Rivers, MVP. All right. On that note, we're going to take a quick break and then come back and wrap everything up one more time.
Wait, did you get the ad for this one?
Crap. So, you're looking to sponsor some podcasts, are you? Well, boy, do I have the thing for you. It's called Less Than Satisfactory Productions. Perhaps you should look into sponsoring them at some point.
We'll take anything.
Yeah, we really will.
You could pay us in bird droppings, probably. We'd take it. It's more than we have now.
I mean, as long as it transfers into some other type of currency, we'll be willing to accept it.
We'll take pennies.
We will take pennies.
Pennies on the dollar. Preferably stacked on $100 bills.
Yes, we do have a Patreon. I will put the link right here for you. Yeah, just click on this.
Oh, wait, no, this is audio only.
Oh, yeah, it was audio. Crap.
See,
Yeah,
I'm trying to point below and tap on the screen. Yeah, that's me tapping on the microphone. Click the mic. Click something.
Do the thing.
Give us money.
We're broke. All right, and we're back with the sports stuff here.
Yeah, we'll have to. We'll probably have some sponsors eventually. We'll never have sponsors.
We might get like one, and it's just probably gonna be one of our friends.
Yeah.
And it's probably just gonna be like his butt cheeks on the screen or something. Because there's one of them like that.
So we're basically gonna have a sugar daddy, is what you're saying?
Yes, we're not actually gonna have sponsors. We're just gonna have sugar daddies.
We'll be making an OnlyFans account soon.
Yeah. I'm terrified about that. Anyway, so we hit up all the NFL stuff, but let's go ahead and talk about some other sports real quick.
Oh yeah, there's other sports in the world.
I know it's rare that we talk about something that's not the NFL.
And I haven't been following hockey this year. I need to work on that.
I did go to a St. Louis Blues game.
Oh,
that was actually probably one of the best fan experiences at any sport I've ever been to.
Really?
Yeah,
I'd love to go to a hockey game soon. That'd be good.
Fans at a Blues game it feels like a WWE event.
Really? Huh.
Everyone's chanting all the damn time.
I mean, when there's ever a possibility for a fight, then it's much more interesting.
Oh yes, and there was a couple of fights in the game. I think they faced the Oilers.
That is an NHL team. So
what town are they in?
Edmonton.
Is that Canada?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. So it's the Edmonton Oilers that they faced. It was a good game. It came down to like a fairly close buzzer beater, if I recall. Like, about 30 seconds or so, which is good in hockey terms from what I can tell.
Yeah, sure.
Regardless, the fans there were fucking ruthless against the refs, though, and that's what really made me happy.
Oh, that's great.
Because there was one really bad call they did and put someone in a penalty box for something stupid. I can't remember what it was. I think they said tripping when he did
slashing.
Is that what it's called?
I don't know.
No. Whatever the tripping one is, I remember that. And like he didn't actually do anything, but they put him in there anyway, and all the fans were like, "Fuck you, refs." It was great. I loved it. It was so great. I was willing to pay $15 to get a T-shirt there.
Oh,
what?
So you're a Blues fan now?
Unofficially, I'm currently a St. Louis fan.
Hey, no, it's not a bad pick. They're good team. Blackhawks are better, but that's okay.
Yes, but the Blues have games I can afford to go to.
That is true. Games at United Center are ridiculously expensive.
I will admit, the Blues Stadium, too, because apparently they built a new one recently called the Enterprise Arena. I think this is what it's called.
Oh, so it's a rental.
Yes. It is really nice.
Really? Okay.
They've got like a live stage.
Oh, is that where the Supercross was?
No.
Oh, okay.
So, like I said earlier in this cast, I also went to Supercross this past weekend. And we went to St. Louis. Went to the America Dome where the Rams used to play.
Oh, yeah. Fuck the Rams.
Yeah, fuck the Rams.
Jerk off. Ugh.
Dude, don't even say the word Rams in that stadium. People will kill you.
Deservedly so. Why did they go to LA? There's already like 5 teams in LA.
LA's got enough. Just let the Chargers go there and leave the Rams in St. Louis. That's my opinion.
Yeah. Anyway.
But Supercross was fun. Ken Roxon got a win. It's good to...
Yeah, I know who that is.
Do you know who Chad Reed is?
Is that a porn actor?
No.
It sounds a bit like one.
But it's his last season, so I kind of wanted to see him. So I went with a couple of buddies from work, and
that's fun. So is that your favorite Supercross?
I grew up watching him, so.
Oh, okay, I gotcha.
And speaking of racing,
yes,
we're getting close to the racing season too.
It's time to educate me about NASCAR.
Yeah,
we'll try to follow it this year.
Good luck.
Okay, I've heard it's getting not boring necessarily, but they're losing some fans apparently.
They lost a bunch of fans because all the people that had marketability are pretty much gone. It's basically just Kyle Busch and Kevin Harvick now, from those that you probably remember.
But Martin Truex.
It's those two. Truex, which conveniently for you, Truex is there. He's a good one. Denny Hamlin's still around. Johnson has his last year.
Jimmy Johnson?
It's his last year this year. Yeah, I know.
Moment of peace. The greatest race car driver?
No. I refuse to give him any moments. I don't.
Won so many championships.
That weren't from him.
Okay.
I still don't care for him. He's got talent, just not enough to make me happy. I'm trying to think who else you would know that's still around. Ryan Newman's still around.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Isn't he like 50 years old?
In NASCAR years, yeah. But, NASCAR should be okay this year. They've done some stuff. Might be a little interesting. I don't know. We'll try. Okay. Maybe we'll give a small shout out every podcast or so.
All right. So here, I got one more proposal. As we close out the podcast, is kind of a New Year's resolution.
What's that? New
decade, new year, whatever. But we have to sit down. We don't have to do it on the podcast right now, but we have to sit down and pick out a sport that neither one of us know and try and follow it this year.
Oh, God.
If we can find fantasy for it, that'll make it much easier, probably.
Yeah, more than likely. I mean, if you come to mind, I don't follow MotoGP at all.
Well, I was thinking you know a little bit, but Formula E might be interesting.
I watched one race last year. It almost looks like a Mario Kart game now.
Interesting.
And I could get into that. There's only like 8 races a year.
There's also esports.
I don't follow any esports.
Is there fantasy esports?
That feels weird to say.
Fantasy wow.
No. Just no.
But yeah, no, it's just sort of a fun
follow golf.
A fun resolution that maybe we might be talking about later on.
Yeah, speaking of things later on, I would like to also propose this. And this is a challenge out there to 2 of our friends as well.
The 2 that listen.
Actually, it is the 2 that listen. Besides Derek. Sorry, Derek.
Oh wait, is Brayden one of them? Is that who it is?
Yeah. Okay. So we're throwing the gauntlet down. We're gonna do our first gaming video this year. We said we were gonna do it last year. Time was not our friend last year, so we didn't get to do as much as we hoped to in the winter. However, this year is going to be different.
Yes.
This year, we're going to have our first video be a 24-hour Lamar race.
Good Lord.
Me and Ethan are going to go against each other.
Oh, we're going against each other?
Yes.
Oh, no.
Yeah. Did you not hear that part when we discussed it off screen?
I guess I did not hear that part.
Yes,
I am prepared to lose by
a lot.
1,000 laps.
So we are all going to purchase the game Project Cars 2.
Okay.
And on that game, we have the ability to have a 24-hour Le Mans race.
Oh, man, I have to start practicing.
You have to actually buy a racing game now. How do you
know.
feel about that? So we're going to do that. And potentially, we'll have 2 more people going, too. So there will be 4 of us. I just foresee it turning very interesting very quick. We might have a few special guests come in.
Yeah, hopefully, because I don't know if I can drive that long.
I don't know if I could do a full 24 hours.
I don't think so. I don't think that's possible.
But we're going to freaking try it. And hopefully you guys will like it. If not, well, that'll just be our one gaming video then.
We'll see.
Yeah, if you don't like it, that's all right. It's just our introduction. And no one likes the introduction, right?
Yeah, no one reads the introduction.
No one likes Phantom Menace.
Oh, gosh. Well, that's another podcast.
Yeah, well, you'll probably be hearing from that one here shortly.
And we're becoming not Strictly Sports, so I'm going to have to call it there, because this is Strictly Sports.
I'm Austin.
This is Ethan.
Have yourselves a great day.
Yeah.
Subscribe.
Hit that leather back. Throw it through the uprights.
And smack the bell. Is
500.
Is there a bell? Bell? Is that a bell thing?
Yeah, bell cow.
Le'Veon Bell. All right.